Hey guys, welcome back to another reading. Today's reading is all about why are people rude to you? So if you have dealt with someone who was rude to you lately, or you've just been having some rude interactions with people, this is a great one to watch for some clarity on that, why they're acting that way, what it is about you that's causing them to act that way, and all those issues. Today we have a beautiful selection of veggies for you guys to choose from. So basically how this works, if it's your first time watching one of my readings, is I do pick a card readings, but usually with fake food. So you're going to choose your pile based on the food you feel really energetically drawn to. Most of the time that's going to be an energetic pull in, just like a normal pick a card or pick a crystal reading, where you just feel drawn to a certain one in particular. You don't necessarily want to pick based on like, oh, that's my favorite food, or I could really eat a carrot right now. Although if you have a spiritual connection to a certain food, it could totally be a symbol for you. But basically you want to use your intuition. Then once you've made up your mind, scroll down to the timestamps in the comments and the description to jump into your pile. So with all of that being said, you guys, let me show you the numbers on each of the piles. This is pile 1, then we have pile 2, pile 3, and finally pile 4. I also want to mention to you guys that I do have my Patreon up with a ton of additional readings. So that's where you can go if you want to see more of my readings. Once you sign up, you get access to over 45 additional readings about life, love, spirituality, career, relocation, so many topics I don't even know, couldn't cover all of them, 18 plus readings. And we also let you guys suggest new readings and vote on the ones that you guys really want to see, and then I film those. So it's very interactive and there's a lot to do, a lot to watch over there. So I hope you will join me over on Patreon if you like how I read tarot. That's where you'll find more of me. So head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description if you would like to sign up for that. And if you guys would like to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, to sign up for a half hour or full hour session with me. You can have me pull tarot, do channeling, mediumship, or astrology charts for you guys. So there's lots of options to choose from. You can get a year ahead reading, you can get a love reading, a career reading, lots of stuff to choose from. So if you'd like that, then head to my website, briarrosetarot.com. Link is in the description for that as well. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Let's tune in to pile 1. Hey pile 1, welcome to your reading. So if you guys pick these leeks, this is going to be your reading. It's super realistic. You can see the leeks even kind of peel away. So they did a really good job on these. But anyways, guys, let's get into your card. So you guys got education, ride the wave, magical map shifter, and movement. So the first thing I'm getting is that people really want your attention, pile 1. A lot of you guys it's almost like hard to get a hold of. Your energy is very precious. I feel like when you enter a room, people turn to stare, and there's something about you that's kind of like hard to get, like I said, hard to get a hold of, like very moving, like kind of you're on your own, you're very independent, you're always going somewhere, you're always doing something, you've got a mind of your own. And I feel like some people want access to your energy and they get frustrated when they don't get access to it. It's almost like throwing a tantrum, because honestly, to me, you guys are giving vibes of like unbothered, like you don't really let people fully get under your skin. You're doing your own thing, you're paying attention to yourself. And I feel like a lot of these people, they kind of would like to be able to access your energy fields. A lot of them also as well, I think, feel like they could learn from you. It's almost like someone like that, like if I could be around them, if I could have them in my life, things would finally straighten out for me and things would be okay. And I feel like a lot of you guys are just doing your own thing. You guys are not necessarily looking to link up with all these people, and honestly, it might be because their energetic vibration is much lower than yours. Your vibration might be quite a bit higher than theirs, and so it's not an energetic match, and they are mad and possibly getting frustrated or angry when they can feel the resonance of your energy. I feel like there are some people that would like to be you. There are literally people that, as someone said on some show, I don't remember the show, but they said, skin you and wear you like last year's Versace. That's like the vibe. Like I feel like people would wish they could be you. People would like to connect with you. If they can't connect with your energy or be you, then they're going gonna get really mad and frustrated. Like, it's almost like they wish they could be you, but they'll settle for being your friend, but then you're also not interested in that. So then they're really going into meltdown mode. So a lot of people who are nasty or angry at you, it is coming from a place of jealousy or lack, or just feeling like, who does this person think they are? And I feel like your energy makes a stir. Like when you guys walk into the room, I feel like it like disturbs everything. There's very powerful energy about you. You might have strong Aquarian placements or Plutonic, Scorpionic placements. So strong Uranus in your chart, or a very prominent Aquarius energy, or possibly Scorpio energy or Pluto placements is what I'm getting, because I feel like there's something quite disruptive about you, that when you come in, like, you're not like everyone else. There's something very different about you, and kind of, even without you saying a word, you might even be dressed the same as everyone else. You might look the same as everyone else, like in the same, maybe you're not from a different culture than the area you're hanging out in or anything like that, but there's something so different about your energy, and your energy speaks louder. So people are like, who is this person? And I feel like there's almost a regal, queen-like or king-like quality about you. And honestly, I feel like it just makes people be in their feelings. It gets feelings of insecurity out from people. People are mad and they're kind of like disturbed by it. Like I've always mentioned before in readings, people have an idea of like, oh, it'd be nice to meet this person, or I have a crush on that person. But I guarantee you, if like Megan Fox actually showed up to a barbecue, people would be hating on her. They'd probably be mad. Like imagine at your local barbecue on, say, the 4th of July, if like Megan Fox randomly walked in. Of course, people would be excited, especially if she wasn't like as famous as she is, and people just saw her as like this stunningly beautiful woman and they didn't know much about her. They'd probably be hating hard. Like the men would be hating, the women would be hating, people would be jealous, because she kind of would set that tone of like, without her opening her mouth, there's like a I'm better than you feeling that people would have with her, from her, even if she wasn't trying to get that across, but she would bring out the energy of insecurity. And I feel like that's something you guys do. And honestly, a lot of these people are straight up jealous. That's what I'm getting really strong, is a feeling of like, oh, so they think they're better than me, so they think I'm not good enough. And again, I feel like a lot of it is because they would like to be friends with you, they would like to be close to you, but it feels like you're not really willing to like we yield to them. We also got connect with nature, claim your energy, and decluttering and be authentic. I feel like there's something about you where you're just in your own world, like you're doing your own thing. You're not trying to really link up with a lot of people, is what I'm getting. Like I feel like there's something that you walk in and you walk out. Like you might come into a restaurant and everyone's heads turn, but you're just like, oh, I'm just picking up takeout, and you leave. And people are like, well, oh, okay. Or you're sitting down at a table, but you're eating by yourself and you're not trying to make eye contact. You're not trying to talk to people. Or you're getting coffee, but you're not trying to like befriend everyone at the place. And I feel like these people, honestly, it's like, oh, okay, well, if it's gonna be like that, then F you know what I mean? And even if you're interacting with someone, maybe they're trying to get closer to you than you're comfortable with. Maybe you're like, I'm protecting my energy, I'm doing my own thing, but they are, taking that very personally. I feel like a lot of people see you as someone that honestly is a bit of a prize. Like if you were their friend, if you were their romantic partner, whatever the thing is, they see you as like very top of the heap, and someone who a lot of people would want to get to know, and who they would be proud to be seen with, proud to hang out with. But it's bringing out a lot of insecurity in people who might not feel good enough, and they might be like usually able to hide their insecurity. But it's like when you walk in, it's different. Like I said, someone might feel really confident about their outfit or how they look, but like if Megan Fox walks in, it's probably gonna make you question yourself, you know what I mean? So I feel like there's something about you that you're so different, and you guys are so unique, and there's something so otherworldly almost about your energy, and something so like you're not, I don't know how to describe it, not shy, or you're not desperate to be liked. Like I feel like there's something about you that's very independent and very like headstrong and kind of tough. And just, I think a lot of people, they might even at first think that you're really sweet, but then they try to like deepen the relationship, or they try to like ask you to hang out, and there's something about you that's like, no, I'm good. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people wish they could like be a part of your world. And honestly, I feel like very unevolved people, it would just be straight up jealousy. So let's go into the tarot. We got Judgment, the Star card, Page of Pentacles, the High Priestess, and the Knight of Swords. So yeah, look, 3 out of the 5 are major arcana cards and very powerful ones at that, extremely intense ones like Judgment, the Star, the High Priestess. There's a very potent energy when you guys walk into a room. And also there's a feeling of you guys judging people, to be honest. And I don't think you do this like on purpose, but I think you guys are highly intuitive in this pile and people can sense that. It's kind of like, even if you're the most unintuitive person in the world, I think everyone can recognize that like Scorpio placements are like really obvious, especially Scorpio ascendants, Pluto on the ascendant, and other placements like that. I mean, everyone talks about Scorpio's eyes, and that's super true. Scorpios tend to have a very piercing gaze that like sees through into your soul. And so, whether you guys have that exact placement or other placements, I don't know. But my point is, I feel like you see through people, like you really see to someone's core. You're not just like laughing and going along with things and just kind of gullible like other people. There's something about you that's very like, I feel like also you guys have high standards, to be honest. In general in life, you might have high standards for yourself and how you dress and how you carry yourself, or like your education levels or something like that. But I feel like people project onto you this whole like, oh, they think they're better. And a lot of it is because, again, they can sense that you're kind of getting what they're putting down. You're picking it up. You're not just, a lot of people aren't super intuitive. So even if someone has like a bad energy, they're not going to pick up on it. I feel like if someone has like trauma, you guys would know from day one. And all water placements would apply with this. Pisces do it, Cancer does it, and Scorpio for sure does it. So I feel like a lot of you guys might have some water placements, or there's just something super perceptive. I could see some air placements as well. But there's something about you that really can see through people. Also, I'm seeing Leo, of course, there's the royalty vibe, and Leo's also psychic as well. But there's something about you guys that truly sees through to someone's core and really, really, really can take them in no matter how much they might be trying to present to others. Like maybe you're that person in your friend group where your friend is like, oh my God, I'm dating this great guy, and you meet him and he's nice and he looks fine and he has a great job and technically he ticks a lot of boxes, and you're like, I should be like happy with this person, but I just get the worst feeling and I don't think you should date them. And you're that friend that like just can see through people at first. And I feel like, yeah, like that's the thing. Other people are easy to fool. You guys are not. You guys have a presence and a vision. And I feel like sometimes people can sense that before you even open your mouth, just a look in your eye. Maybe you just make quick eye contact with someone, but suddenly they become very self-conscious of like what they're wearing and their hair and their clothes. And oh, like, okay, they probably think they're better, that kind of a thing. And honestly, a lot of people would like to talk to you, would like to get to know you, but there's also this feeling of like, pile 1 probably wouldn't even try to talk to me. They wouldn't want to know me. They would just ignore me. They just, you know, would breeze out the door. You guys are represented by the Star card. So you're gonna naturally and automatically get attention no matter where you go. And again, a lot of low vibrational people, especially like if you're a man, possibly other men, if you're a woman, other women might be very jealous of you. But men can be jealous of, like straight men can be jealous of women, you know, or any kind of man can be jealous of a woman, and vice versa. But I feel like there's something about your level of quality. You know, sometimes when you're just a high quality person, whether you're a man or a woman, it can conjure up jealousy in people who are like low quality people. No offense, I'm not trying to be like a jerk, but you know what I mean? Like the levels we're at in our life in terms of someone being maybe more spiritually aware or smarter or prettier or whatever the case may be. I feel like there's something about you guys that's just kind of like a cut above the rest. And when people are making these inner calculations in their mind and just instantly meeting someone and kind of like doing the ones over and just kind of like measuring them up, you guys come up very highly. So a lot of people would like to have more of a connection with you, but they're assuming that you wouldn't want to talk to them. You might even bring up trauma for them in like, oh, like I was always left out in high school and look at this person. They're exactly the kind of person who would leave me out. Even if you totally stuck to yourself in high school and you didn't play into that at all, there's people who just assume that like you guys are so good looking and everything that you're going to be this jerk kind of a thing. Yeah, but I feel like a lot of it is because you guys are very smart and intelligent and also very psychic. So you're sizing people up like instantly. You're able to get a vibe of someone right away. And this is the thing, someone might feel good about their outfit, or maybe they're kind of a sketchy person, but they're like, whatever, most people don't notice. And then I feel like they run into you and you just, you know, I'm reminded of someone in my life who has really strong Scorpio placements. And this person, like, I'm a Pisces, so I get the message, but I tend to like justify it or make, you know, make excuses or be like, well, maybe they meant this. But, you know, my Scorpio friends, they will be the first one to be like, no, that person's toxic. They're trash. I don't want to hang out with them. And for me, I used to always be like, oh my gosh, that's too harsh. But now I've always seen that it does come true, you know, that Scorpio assessment, as harsh as it is also very true. So I feel like a lot of you guys, and you know, like I said, even with Pisces or Cancer placements, despite the fact that we can be a little gentler and like maybe not listen and be not as harsh about it, we still get the message. And so you're still going to be triggering these feelings in people, even if you don't have any direct Scorpio, but other water, I feel like for sure, or Leo, will bring out this feeling of inadequacy, or like, oh, this person sees through me. They know what I have going on. They know all my traumas. They know all my weaknesses. And it's really not a comfortable feeling, especially if that person hasn't done any trauma work or they thought they were doing pretty good until you showed up. It's gonna bring up that feeling of like, how dare you? How dare you know this? It's kind of like when you have water placements, it's almost like you read someone's diary without meaning to, because you're just instantly able to read them so strong. So we also got the Eagle King, the Big Picture, Angelic Help, the Winged Wise Ones, Angelic Help, Miraculous 8, a lot of angelic help going on. I'm telling you, you guys are highly psychic. The Cosmos, Creativity, Vastness, and the Prison Wave, Self-Sabotage, Poverty, Consciousness. So again, with this angelic or like other worldly astral plane energy you guys are giving off, very psychic. You might have a lot of angels around you or a strong spiritual team around you, because that often happens when someone has psychic abilities. Their team is just like much closer to them for some reason. But anyway, I feel like a lot of you guys, people can sense the presence when you walk into the room, this high priestess energy. You know, the high priestess, as she's depicted in the Rider-Waite, is sitting in her temple, and it's like a cold stone marble temple around her, you know, and she's just sitting on her throne and she sees through, and she has this presence to her that's much more, I think, intimidating than some of the other, than I would say any of the other like queen or feminine cards, because she has the presence to see through you. And she's not like bubbly and sweet and romantic or sexual or loving or anything like that. She is truly the one who like has nothing to prove to anyone, just someone who is so in her own energy, so in her own confidence that it could totally rattle someone. And so the high priestess would sit, you know, she's the archetype of various feminine goddesses who would sit in their temple, in their throne, and other figures and like the Vestal Virgins and stuff like that. Anyway, and they would sit in their throne or their temple, and you had to be of the right caliber to even enter into their presence. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, Vestal Virgins were kept away from everyone. And if you go to temples, even now in various parts of the world that still have temples, you have to give an offering. You can't just come and be broke and not give them a thing. You have to come, you have to dress up, you have to be respectable, and you have to come with respect. And I feel like that's your quality, that's your vibe, is like you're not tolerating some of the BS other people want to dish out. And people who are used to dealing out BS, probably with you, they're like a little bit taken aback. That's very strong about you. I do feel like a lot of you guys have just this gravity. Again, I'm getting water vibes, and also people might perceive you as slightly bougie, or that you're kind of upscale, or that there's something about you that's a little bit judgmental in that way. Like you're not impressed by cheap clothing, or you're not impressed by someone who doesn't have their life together. Again, I feel like you see through everything. Not that that matters, but of course, how we dress or carry ourselves can be an indication of what's going on the inside. And I feel like a lot of you guys might just be so perceptive, like that person that just rushed out the door, you know, or hasn't like taken a shower in a couple days. Maybe they're struggling with depression and you're that person who can see through it, you know, and who will pick up on that right away. Of course, not everyone, but I'm just saying, I feel like you really can read someone very closely. So there is this vibe that maybe people are thinking you're judgmental over how they dress, their looks, and that you're going to think of them as like a loser. So we also got Vanishing Mirror, Ego Sublimation, Hollow Bone, Teachability, Galactic Mushroom, The Divine Matrix, Sky Bridge, Possibility for Union, and Perfect Storm, The Courage to Step into Life. And by the way, I haven't read any of these as I'm pulling. But yeah, with Ego Sublimation, I feel like you're a threat to so many people's egos. Maybe they felt really good about themselves when they walked out the door, but when they're standing next to you, they realize that you guys are, I feel like a lot of you guys are quite attractive as well and very well put together. And again, there's just something about your energy that is so powerful, strong, and not about the BS, you know, something that you're not sacrificing yourself or pretending that someone else's bad behavior is okay. I feel like you are that person that you might have had interactions with friends where they're coming to you and like crying about their like fifth boyfriend, you know, that they just broke up with, and, you know, a toxic relationship. And you might be that friend who would be like, yeah, but like, I mean, he is a total douche, but at the same time, you chose this person or whatever. Or there's, you know, you might be the one to reflect back and see through things and take a different, truly unpopular perspective. Because most people say they take an unpopular perspective, but let's be honest, most people just kind of follow the crowd. And I feel like you guys are the people that really would like see things differently and not just go along with what the crowd is saying. So maybe someone thinks that, I don't know, a certain cause is really important, and you would be that person to speak out and be like, I actually don't care about that, even if it's really controversial, and even if everyone's freaking out because they're like, well, you need to, and this is completely awful. You'd be that person to be like, yeah, well, I don't care. Or maybe you'd be the person in the opposite thing where everyone's like, oh, that's normal and accepted, and you're the person to speak up and be like, this is completely unacceptable, and I'm standing up and I'm saying something, and like, this is wrong. But I feel like you truly are like that 1% who would say something and who would speak up and who actually stands their ground and isn't afraid. Let me get some astro dice for you guys as well. Spirit, please give me some astro dice for pile 1 and why people, oh my God. I probably shouldn't shuffle like with my non-dominant hand, my left hand. Let's get some astro dice for pile 1 about why people are rude to them. Wow. Okay. So we got the 4th house, Cancer, we got Aries, and then we got Uranus. So just like I had said, Uranus relates to Aquarius, 4th house is Cancer, and then Aries is Aries, obviously. So we have Aries, Cancer, and Uranus, or Aquarius coming through. And I mentioned the heavy Aquarian vibes I'm getting from you guys, because again, I feel like it really is, it's very Aquarian to be different, to want to stand out from the crowd, to be other, to not go along with things, to be wanting to take an unconventional stance, not just like, oh, I just happen to be, you know, unconventional, but deliberately to look at a crowd and be like, I'm not following that. I refuse. I refuse to sublimate myself into the greater mass of people's opinions. I will only do what I want to do, and I'm going to stand up and buck the trend. And that's something that's very important to most Aquarians, is like being different, not just for, well, kind of for the sake of it, but just because they believe so deeply in that. They believe really deeply in kind of overthrowing power structures and in standing up and not being the same as everyone. They really hate that. So I feel like there's just something so different about you guys, and your difference and your willingness to be different also, I feel like, you know, it rubs people the wrong way. And you guys might be like unconventional. You might be the kind of person that is doing something unconventional. Like maybe you're the only woman employed at like an all-male company, or you're, you know, the first person to live in a country where everyone, you know, no one really looks like you. I don't know, or not, obviously not the first person, but you know what I mean? Like you're an unusual person and you stick out. But there's something so different, whether you fit into any of those molds or not. I feel like there's something just about your energy that is like changing things. You know what I mean? There's something about your very presence that changes things, changes old paradigms, shifts things. And there's something about you being uncompromising about that. Like you're not apologizing for your space or your presence. You're like, I'm here and I'm not leaving. You know what I mean? And again, with the fourth house, Cancer energy, there's something very psychic. There's something that sees through things. There's something that you're not trying to get everyone else to like you, or putting on blinders, or just accepting the status quo. There's something about you that really does see through someone. And even though someone might have felt pretty good about whatever they were doing, or maybe they, you know, thought they were fine, I feel like there's something about you that really sees past that. Like I said, you know, I feel like with other water placements, Scorpios are really good at seeing through things. And that's why I love talking to Scorpios and Cancers as well, is because they will be the ones who will point out other things that like even I hadn't noticed. Like, oh my gosh, that person did do blah, blah, blah. And they also said blah, blah, blah. And you know what? That kind of relates to this. And it's that seeing through something. It's not just viewing it as it is, but using your higher intuition to read the energy, to read the vibe. And I feel like you guys really, really do that. And again, something uncompromising with this Aries energy, something about you that, you know, it's kind of bullish and kind of like, I feel like you're not willing to play ball. You know, someone might be hoping that they can just intimidate you, or that they can twist your arm, or that they can say something. And I feel like every time you're going to speak your truth and you're going to speak up, and there's something about you that you don't care if you're disruptive. You don't care. You're like, good. I want to disrupt this old, stupid paradigm. I want to disrupt this lame restaurant by walking in and looking good and having everyone turn to stare with their stupid conversations. You know what I mean? There's something about you that I feel like you just, it's kind of tower moment vibes. And of course, a tower can only fall when it's built on sand or when it's not built stable. So it can never fall when it is stable. And that's why it's actually, I think, a very holy process. That scorpionic, plutonic, transformative energy is something that is supposed to cause change. And I feel like that's what you guys do. You come in and you're just like, let me knock over this Jenga board, because you guys shouldn't even be wasting your time with this. Not only am I not going to play, I'm going to knock over the whole dang board, you know? So yeah, I feel like that's a big part of why people don't like you or are rude to you. You know, it's a lot of recognition of your power. And also people want to kind of learn from you. Honestly, a lot of people would love to glom onto your energy. A lot of people would love, I didn't even talk about this one, Skybridge possibility for a union. Like they would like to be close to you. They would like to be friends with you. They would like to be besties with you. They might not say that and you're probably like, what? They want to be friends with me? That's why they're being rude? That makes no sense. Yeah, but humans make no sense. Humans are mostly like emotional and illogical, and that's kind of a good thing. Logic is overrated anyway, but that's another story. But the thing is, a lot of people, they're like, okay, well, if I can't be close to them, I'm gonna be rude then. It's kind of like a scorned ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend who like, you know, like burns someone's clothes or something like that. It's like this angry, vengeful energy because I can't have you, then no one can, kind of a thing. So yeah, I feel like a lot of that is why people are rude or angry towards you. It's actually a big compliment. And I feel like you guys are probably already protecting your energy, so I don't even need to give you advice on how to protect your energy, because it feels like you guys have some strong energetic barriers that you're not even letting it, you know, get to you. You're not even going to try to entertain these people. You're like, yeah, I know they're trash. So yeah, good for you, pile one. So anyways, I really hope that resonated, you guys. Let me know if it did in the comments. I always love hearing from you guys, love hearing your thoughts. So please let me know what you think, how it applied to you, whether you do think you have this vibe or not. Also, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, give this reading a like if it did resonate, and make sure to subscribe and turn those notifications on, hit the bell so you can find out as soon as I post. And if you guys would like to see more of my readings, then head on over to my Patreon, where I post all my additional readings. As soon as you sign up, you get access to over 45 additional readings about life, love, spirituality, career, relocation, 18+ readings, so many different money, so many different topics. I just posted one all about your career and what's happening next in your career, but new ones go up all the time. And like I said, as soon as you sign up, you get access to everything. And you guys also suggest new ones, and then we vote on new ones, so you get to really decide what I read over there. So I hope you'll join us. There's a lot to do over there, a lot to watch, and if you'd like to join our little club, head to the link underneath the timestamps in my comments and my description to join my Patreon. I hope to see you guys there. And if you guys would like to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, to sign up for a half-hour or a full-hour session with me, have me pull tarot, have me do your astrology, channel, regular channeling or mediumship channeling. It's totally cool however you want to do it. You can also get a year ahead reading, a love reading, career reading. There's so many different options for what you want to focus on, or just a general energy check-in. Whatever you want, you can get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Link is in my description for that as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you guys very soon in another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey Pile 2, welcome to your reading. So if you guys picked this eggplant, this is going to be your reading. They did a lot of great detailing on the stem and on the rest of the eggplant as well. It looks super realistic, but anyways guys, let's get into your cards. So you guys got Stormfields, Coming Apart, Golden Palace, and Compass. So what I'm getting for you guys is you make quite an impression when you walk in, and some of the people who might be rude to you, it might just be their own issues. It might be that they're just going through a lot that day, and you just happen to have like the bad luck or timing with having to be the one to interact with them. And I think a lot of people are just going through a lot nowadays anyways. So it might just be like a random happenstance that really doesn't have anything to do with you, and you shouldn't take it personally. But there also is an energy of you guys looking very good, being very attractive or put together, and sometimes that might trigger someone who might be already having like a rough day or not feeling super good about themselves, and then suddenly they see you come in and you're very striking, you make a very good impression, and it might just add to that, like especially if they're feeling insecure or they're having a rough day, it might just be something that kind of pushes them over the edge. But honestly, some of these people might just be like messes, or they might be dealing with trauma. They might not have been raised with good manners or something. And so again, you walking in, it might just be something where it's a random event. It's a randomly being drawn to this person, and maybe even your light and the beauty you guys exude actually bring out, like I said, insecurity and pain within them, where they might not feel good enough. They might not feel like they measure up to you. I almost feel like there's something in you that sometimes brings out when someone has or is feeling bad. They might even like know deep down that you could offer them some healing, or that you have such a beautiful, successful energy around them that they kind of would like your attention, or they would like a part of it, or they feel like you could somehow fix them or do something for them. That might be, you know, kind of like a kid throwing a tantrum. Like a kid doesn't go to their mom and say like, hey, I really need help. They just start crying and screaming, right? And so sometimes people don't really grow out of that. So I feel like that's one of the reasons people feel super drawn to you, is because honestly, you seem like a success, and you seem like someone who could almost take it. You know, you seem like someone that maybe if they're having a rough day and they're really having a meltdown, and you know, you happen to walk over to them and they're the cashier, they could be ruder to you than someone else, like, because you're not going to just lose your ish and be like really immature and like start screaming at them. You might, I don't know, you might complain about them or something. Nothing wrong with that if that's how you want to react. You know, no judgment, but I feel like you also are the kind of person who would probably just rise above it. Like you have a lot of natural dignity to you guys. And I feel like you also give people a lot of grace, and you tend to give people a lot of chances, or not even let things bother you, to be honest. I feel like you guys do a really good job of kind of not letting things get under your skin as much as someone else might. But let's get into some other cards. So we also got Stormy, Multiple Streams, In Touch with Your Body, and we got emotional baggage. So a lot of these people, I think, have emotional baggage, and you just happen to be the unlucky person who stumbles across it. You can see that this person in this card is like sobbing. You know, they have tears running down their face. And so I feel like sometimes you just happen to be the person who walks in. Like, I feel like honestly, your energy tends to be very positive and kind of like self-focused, not in a bad way, but like forward momentum. Like, you're focusing on yourself, you're doing your own thing, you're leveling up. You guys might also look really good, or you might have, you know, a really good body. Like, people might be a little bit jealous of your physical appearance, your physical shape, and all of that, or your face as well, just how you carry yourself. I feel like there's something that seems very kind of friendly, pretty, and well put together about you. And that might just trigger feelings of insecurity in someone else. They might be like, why are they dressed so well? Or wow, they look so put together. They look like they just got out of a yoga class and they're all matchy and they just probably don't have any problems at all. They probably have everything figured out in their life. They might also be assuming that you're really wealthy, because we got both of these cards coming out on top of each other. And I didn't do that on purpose, but I do feel like there is a vibe and energy around you of success. So people might assume or project on you that you just have no problems, that you have lots of money and everything's perfect for you. And if they have jealous tendencies, that might bring out some jealousy in them, or some feelings of comparison, or feeling like they're not good enough. I feel like a lot of the people who are rude to you are just very emotionally immature, if I'm going to be honest. They probably have never done any shadow work. They probably never done anything to work through their baggage and their trauma. They probably are still kind of stuck in the past. I'm hearing that song by Taylor Swift, Right Where You Left Me, which is a song about, I mean, kind of being stuck by trauma. And so I feel like a lot of these people are like stuck living in the past with a high school mentality. Maybe, you know, when you come in and you look really good and you're happy and you're high vibe, it's such a contrast to their own feelings of inner turmoil that it just sends them into a spiral, and it feels like an attack. You know, whenever you're around something that's not an energetic resonance with you, you can feel a visceral reaction to it. Sometimes if you're a high vibe, that means it can be very difficult to be around low vibrational people, but it's true in the opposite direction. Or sometimes they feel a craving, I think, towards high vibrational people, but because they're not in a functional place, they don't know how to go about approaching it maturely and being like, hi, let me try to level up to meet you. Instead, it's just like, let me try to drag them down, or let me try to grab off a piece of them. Let me try to like grab at their, you know, grab at their cloak to try to like take some of their power. And I feel like a lot of you guys, I think that is literally a story in the Bible where like Jesus cured someone because he grabbed his cloak. And that's what they're showing me. And people might want that from you. You know, obviously you guys aren't Jesus, but they might, you know, sense that you have figured out your life, you've done shadow work or trauma work, or maybe you didn't grow up with a ton of trauma and you're just in a really good place and your energy is very high vibrational and really good. And so it's like, they're like, let me get into that. I want that, but they don't know how to express that maturely. They don't know how to tell themselves that. They might even get easier to be in a place of just hating on you because they feel like they could never reach you. Kind of like that person who knows they could never make the football team if they're a guy, and so they start hating on the football guys and being like, they're all jocks, they're all jerks, you know what I mean? Even if that's totally not true, when you haven't met all the football players, you don't know if they're all jerks. They could, I'm sure there are some who are lovely, even if it was true that the majority of the team was jerks. I'm just saying hypothetically, there's got to be someone who's nice, you know what I mean? Just like law of odds. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people just kind of put a label on you because you seem bright, bubbly, happy, beautiful, and like you're kind of minding your own business is what I'm really getting from you guys. Like, I feel like you just walk in a good mood. You try to be in a good mood. You try to be positive. You try to be friendly. And honestly, sometimes that also might irritate someone because maybe they're just not used to any kindness. Maybe they're so used to like cruelty that, you know, kindness feels almost so strange and foreign to them and different. I also feel, you know, when someone is in that kind of a place where maybe they grew up and they got treated really bad, they kind of like don't know how to react. They don't know how to speak the language of kindness or goodness or an energetic resonance of like happy positivity. And it might feel like, again, a reminder of their own inadequacy. Like maybe they grew up in a really toxic family where their dad was really mean and their mom was horrible to them, and every day was like hell. And so when they see someone who is happy, they just are like, maybe when they were growing up and they would see other happy families, all it would bring them is a feeling of pain, because they would be reminded of what they don't have instead of what they should have had, what this beautiful childhood this child is having. And look at me stuck with these two loser parents and my life is hell. You know what I mean? So maybe they're still in that place where they never really got to fix it or move past the trauma. So when they see someone who's happy, they still take it as a reminder of their own misery. You know what I mean? I know that's kind of really intense and deep for this kind of reading, but it is what's coming up for you guys. So the next cards are the Prison Wave, Self-Sabotage, Poverty Consciousness, the Sacred Union, Partnership, Romance, the River Queen, Flow, Letting Go, Natural Movement, and the Rainbow Prince, Compensation, Perseverance. There's also something about you that I'm hearing is very graceful. I feel like you guys might have a connection to animals, or animals might really love you. That can also bring up insecurity. I think there's a lot of, sometimes there's insecure pet owners that maybe base some of their identity off like, oh, I'm the only one my dog likes, or like, oh, well, my cat like hates everyone except me. And if someone's really insecure, that can be like the thing they build their sense of self-worth off of, like everyone can build their sense of self-worth off of something dysfunctional and something that, they're clinging to for that reason. And I feel like with you guys, maybe because animals are very drawn to you, that it might irritate even pet owners. They might be like, oh, I thought my dog would bark at everyone, but they really love Pile 2 and they don't even know Pile 2. What the heck? Honestly, there's something so happy about you guys, positive vibes about you guys. Like, I feel like I'm hearing that line from A$AP Rocky where he says, just to kick it is a blessing. And I feel like that's the case. Just being around your energy field is a blessing. And I feel like people are just trying to break off a piece of it, just trying to like bathe in your sunshine for just a moment. Because honestly, I feel like they feel like if I could just get a little bit of that magical fairy dust Pile 2 has, maybe I could be like that. Maybe my own bum life could improve. I'm hearing that bum life phrase that Conor McGregor always says. But like, yeah, maybe they feel like, their issues could get straightened out if they were around someone like you. But I feel like a lot of these people, it's almost like they can sense, it's kind of like, it's funny I brought up dogs, because it's kind of like a scared dog when you see like animal rescue videos of like dogs being rescued, and a lot of times they'll bark at the rescuer, or they'll be scared of the rescuer, but then they kind of also feel drawn to the rescuer, and they kind of like will come towards the rescuer and then back away, and I feel like that's the vibe, is like people kind of know that your energy is so positive and they want some of it, but then they also get scared of it. They might also have like abandonment issues. They might have self-worth issues with feeling like someone like Pile 2 would never like someone like me, would never want to be around someone like me. If they got to know me, they would leave me. I feel like people can see the light shining out of you. Like, I love that this image is this rainbow coming out of this man's hands. I wasn't sure if it was his chest or his hands. I just noticed that. And I feel like there's something that shines so bright out of all of you guys. And it's almost like, you guys might not realize that like when you're leaving these situations, you might inspire some of these people to really change their lives. And even though I feel like sometimes people are rude to you, I feel like you guys generally tend to give people grace and be kind regardless. And I actually feel like some of you guys feel insecure about that. Like, there's been times when maybe someone's been really rude to you, and instead of you saying anything, you just kind of smiled at them and like didn't say anything back. And maybe afterwards you were like, you know what? I shouldn't have smiled. I should have said something, and I should have stood up for myself, and I should have asked to speak to the manager. And of course, if you feel called energetically to do that, then I'm not going to like tell you not to do. You have to, make your own path in life, and you can totally choose what boundaries you want to put up for yourself. I think it's important to have boundaries. So I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I do feel like it's almost like you might not realize that you smiling and giving them grace is actually the most powerful thing you can do. And it might inspire them to make the most change. And also, a message you might need to hear is that's not your job, that's God's job. So even if they are dysfunctional, mean, and cruel, it's not up to you to fix them. It's not up to you to put them in their place. So don't even worry about that. Stay in your beautiful, positive vibe. And maybe you doing that, I feel like some of you guys in this pile, you're very sweet souls and you have a very strong protective angel team around you, team of spirit guides, ancestors, and all of that on the other side. And so because of that, I feel like actually some of the harshest things you can do when you have that kind of karmic protection around you is to just be kind. Because if you try to fight, then you know, your guides will be like, oh, okay, pile 2 has this. When you're like, okay, let me smile at you and leave, then your guides are like, oh, heck no, let me intervene and let me put this person in their place. And so I feel like it's almost something where you don't realize that because you guys are so kind, positive, you have such good karma about you, that when someone is cruel to you, there is going to be punishment for those people. So if you're worried about that, not to worry. And you don't have to worry about standing up or, you know, putting them in their place or saying something or like whatever. It's like your energy is so high vibe anyway that, you know, you shouldn't even trouble yourself with their thoughts. Like Joel Osteen has a great sermon about eagles don't pay attention to crows, and his whole lesson is about how eagles, even though they're like a huge bird of prey and they could totally like mess up a crow if they wanted to, they just, instead of them like going down and attacking the crows will actually attack eagles when they fly down at their same height. Because probably the crows are intimidated by them and they're like, oh my God, look at this huge bird with its big wings and it looks so beautiful. So instead of doing anything or reacting or fighting the crow, they just fly to a higher level because crows can't touch them because they can fly like super high up at the same height as like a jet plane. So anyway, I feel like that's something you guys do, is like you don't actually get down in the mud and fight. You just tend to be like, okay, have a great day, and don't even let it get to you. And you might sometimes be like, you know I really should have mentioned it, that was uncool and I should have said something. But you know what, I think the best thing you can do, actually, your energy is so high vibe, your team is so protective of you, like don't even worry about it, because they're going to put some of these people in their place anyway. They're going to give them strong karmic punishment. So if they are rude to you, like just rest assured it is taken care of, it's handled, it's done, and you don't even need to bother yourself with that. And there might be something in your energy that actually inspires them to get to a more high vibrational place. Because like I said, think of that story I told, or the, you know, the example of the someone who was like, had a horrible childhood, and Spirit's bringing up to me this speech by Wayne Dyer where he talks about, you know, this kind of dysfunctional child in class, and he's always messing up and he's always making mistakes, and the teacher kept trying to correct him, but every time in class he wouldn't listen. And she was like, oh my gosh, this kid is so disruptive. So she's giving him like bad grades or whatever, and then everyone in the school gives her a gift for like Christmas, and it's all like nice gifts, and the little boy, like Billy, I think is his name, gives her like this really bad gift, like a broken something, and it's like tied together with string or something like that. And she's like, what is this? Another annoying thing from Billy. And then, you know, he writes a note on it that's like, I'm sorry if this isn't very good, my mom died last year and I haven't been able to you know, like this is the best I could do, but like my mom isn't here anymore, my dad's not really around. And so she feels such compassion for him that she ends up staying extra late to work with him, to help him. She starts, instead of giving him all this criticism about his grades, she starts encouraging him, you know, trying to help him, blah, blah, blah. And he starts improving every year. And she also, it said, you know, she looked past his old records, and all he had used to be doing really well every year until his mom died. And he started getting worse as she started getting sick. And then when she passed, his performance plummeted. So instead of coming at it from a judgmental place, she could understand why. And so she starts working with him, and that starts making a change. And then that year he does really well. And he he does better. And then the next year he does better. The next year he does better. And eventually he becomes valedictorian. And then he goes off to college and is like this amazing, like I think he becomes a doctor or something. And in his speech, in his final graduation, he invites the teacher, and she, goes and he thanks her for that change. And I'm literally getting like emotional as I'm talking. But honestly, it's such a beautiful story of what happens when we can extend grace to someone and not just, you know, take them as like their dysfunctional behavior, but sometimes realizing why they're dysfunctional and why they might be in pain and why they might be going through that, and like the amazing potential we have for positive change. If we do that, if we can actually like send someone love, even though they've treated us badly, that is the ultimate most powerful thing. And again, I don't know why so much like Christianity stuff is coming up in this reading. I am a Christian, but it usually doesn't come through this much. But I will say that like there's a reason why, Jesus is the most powerful, kind of religious figure, or the most widespread, most religious people in the world are Christians, or the biggest religion, I guess is how I should word it. And so anyway, and it's because his whole story was like, he didn't fight back, right? There's something very alchemically powerful in someone being cruel to you, mean to you, horrible to you, and you turning the other cheek. I know that, sometimes there is a need to fight back or whatever, but I feel like you guys have figured out how important kindness is. And I feel like the way you extend it is something that truly, honestly, can touch people in ways you don't even realize. And that's actually, there's more power in that than in like hitting back, biting back, getting down in the mud, getting angry. So yeah, that's what I'm getting. I was getting so emotional retelling that story. Wayne Dyer tells it way better than I did though, but it's a really good lesson for all of us. So we got Justice, Queen of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles, and the Emperor. So it's so funny when they come out like this. Clearly there's an energy around you of wealth or success that people might be picking up on, and people might just assume again, oh, this person has a perfect life, they have no worries, like everything's easy for them, their life is just set, and everything, they don't have to try hard for anything. And my life is so hard. I've had to go through this. And that might be true. They might have had to go through a lot. Some of them, I'm sure, most people, like a lot of people, have different traumas and stuff. So you don't have to feel guilty at all. But I think, maybe understanding that, like, it doesn't excuse behavior, and it's not to say like, oh, you have to put up with this at all. But sometimes when we realize the intention, we can realize, one, that it's not our battle to fight and they're fighting an inner battle, and two, that like I said, there is an element here of karma that, unfortunately, with karma, you kind of keep accumulating it. And so, sometimes they might already be living in a place of hell and being in such a negative place, and that's why they're bringing negativity towards you. But it's nothing for you to get yourself concerned with or for you to get upset about. And it might just be, take it as a compliment, take it as a reflection of the way you guys exude a powerful, successful energy. And I feel like high vibrational people will respond to you by being like, wow, that's awesome. I love piles. Two, I love being around them, and pile two is so awesome, and this is so great, they're such a success. Meanwhile, other low vibrational people are going to respond to it by being like, ugh, ew, pile two, they stink. And you know what? They had it all, and they haven't even had to try. And that attitude of like self-defeatism or negativity is just going to keep compounding on itself, because that's how energy works. The more we assume a situation is negative, the more it will be negative. So I feel like these people it's almost like they're living in a prison of their own making, and there's nothing you need to do to take care of it, because with this Justice card, I feel like your guides are on it. People might also assume that you just have a really easy time in dating, that you tend to attract like powerful partners or very attractive partners. And that might bring out some negativity and jealousy as well. So we also got dream thief, refusal of the call, many masks, the authentic self, watchers, transpersonal, and will o' the wisp, treasures hidden in the shadow. So I feel like you bring out a sense of inadequacy in a lot of people, feeling like they're not good enough, feeling like no one really notices me. Look at pile 2, they get all this attention. They just have things so easy for them, and everyone likes them as they are. They might perceive you as being very popular. There might be something about your energy that's like bubbly and effervescent, fun to be around, and like I said, kind of popular and well liked, and like you might come off like you can just get along with everyone and everyone is drawn to you, and you might just have this magnetic vibe to your aura. And so a lot of these people might be upset because they're comparing themselves, and they feel like they could never draw in people the way you draw in people, and they could never have people looking at them or interested in them the way you have people looking at you and interested in everything you have going on. So there's a lot of comparison happening with people just, measuring themselves to you and not being sure how they measure up, or if they measure up, and feeling like honestly they don't measure up. Also, some of you guys might have like tried to do something really new, or you might be someone who's just very bold and unafraid, friendly, and kind of unencumbered. Like I feel like your energy comes across unencumbered, like lighter, like you're not as full of baggage, like you're still very hopeful and young at heart. Even if you have been through a lot of trauma, it feels like you still kept the side of yourself that's bright and bubbly and open and warm and lovely and open to adventure. And so people who might feel like they have just been so jaded by life might just be irritated by like this bright, beautiful, fresh presence. Just like if you're stuck in like a winter energy, you might get irritated by spring coming around. Let me get some, speaking of that, let's get some astrology, because it's giving kind of like Aries burst of life energy at times. Well, let's see what astrology we got for pile 2. So we got Saturn, 4th house, and Aries. I love when that happens. Okay, so Saturn definitely is, so we have Capricorn, by the way, Aries, and Cancer. So Saturn is definitely the planet of, amongst other things, but hardship is one of the things it rules over. So a lot of these people, they've just been through it. They've been through a lot of trauma. They've been through their fair share of hardship. They've been through difficult events. And instead of kind of being able to transmute that into light and power and positivity, they might feel very stuck within it. And the best thing you can do is offer them your kindness and your compassion, and let yourself feel grateful for the fact that you haven't stayed stuck in trauma, and you've chosen to move past any traumas, and you choose positivity and light, and that you had the inner strength to do that. And maybe your example of them being positive yourself and not letting their negativity get to you will set a good example for them, and maybe they'll be able to move into that, and maybe it won't. It's not your job to figure out. Your job is to focus on yourself and be as positive and happy and beautiful as you possibly can. And we have Aries coming through validating that, because Aries is that energy of focusing on the self. It's really about me, what I want, what I need. And it is the 1st house, and it's where the sun is actually exalted. So again, we're supposed to do that. Our soul is supposed to focus on our own individual missions, and not to say we can't have other people around or serve a collective good or anything like that, but ultimately we're supposed to be a little selfish and focus on ourselves, our wants, our desires, our meaning in life, our higher calling, or whatever the case may be. And I feel like a lot of you guys should do that. So don't be over, I hope none of you guys also I don't want anyone to feel possibly guilty or anything like that. I really hope, because sometimes when you talk about, oh, this person's going through that, so you shouldn't be mad at them, and you should feel guilty that you ever were mad. I'm definitely not saying that. I totally understand. Trust me, getting mad at someone's rude behavior, 100%, I understand. And there's a siren going off. Again, confirmation of karma that your guides are coming after these people when they act bad. But no, I really fully understand getting annoyed or upset. I think that's human nature when someone's rude to us. It's totally unavoidable to feel that way. And you don't need to feel guilty afterwards. There is something mean and wrong about being rude and nasty to someone, regardless of the reason or whatever you're going through. And it's our own individual like responsibility to work through trauma. But I think reframing it and being like non-judgmental of it and just being like, you know what, that's their journey. And all I can do is shine the brightest light I can and be as happy, positive, and high vibrational as I can. And that is my life mission for me. And that will inspire others to go on that path. That's the best way to react to that. I hope that makes sense. And we have the 4th house, aka Cancer. So again, I feel like people, kind of sense that you have a healing energy, a mothering energy about you, a caring, generous spirit, and empathetic energy, that you're an empath. And it's almost like if they're having a rough day, they feel like drawn to you. They feel like, oh, maybe pile 2 could help me. Maybe pile 2 is going to be a lot more understanding than my average client or the average person I'm having to deal with. Like pile 2 is so giving and loving. And, yeah, so I feel like that's a big reason why a lot of them also might direct this towards you, is it's almost like crying out for mom, like a little kid throwing a tantrum or something, or just knowing on such a deep level that you could offer them healing and wishing they could get that from you. So yeah, I think that is what I have for you guys. Pile 2, this got really deep. I literally was almost about to start crying, but I held it together. So my Cancer moon didn't fully come out, but yeah, we manage things. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. If it resonated, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear how it applied to you, how true you thought this was, how you thought it fit you, or what you took away from it. I would love to know. So please let me know in the comments. Also, make sure to give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button if it did resonate with you, and make sure to subscribe and turn those notifications on, hit the bell so you can find out as soon as I post. And if you guys would like to see more of my readings, then head on over to my Patreon, where I post all my additional readings. I just posted one all about what is happening next in your career. But when you sign up, you get access to all my readings. So readings about life, love, spirituality, career, relocation, money, 18+ readings, relationships, so many different topics over there. And you guys suggest new topics and we vote on the ones you suggest. So it's very interactive and there's a lot to do over at Patreon. And like I said, once you sign up, you get access to over 45 of all my additional readings. So I hope to see you guys over there joining our little team over on Patreon. And the link for that is underneath the timestamps in the comments and in the description as well. And if you guys would like to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and sign up for a half-hour or a full-hour session with me. I may pull tarot for you, channel mediumship, channel intuitively, or do astrology for you, or just do a mix. You also could get a year ahead reading, a love reading, or a career reading, or just a general energy check-in. I love doing those. Whatever you guys would like, you can totally pick and choose over there. So I would love to do a reading for you, and head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, if you'd like to get one of those. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you guys very soon in another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile 3, so if you guys picked this daikon radish, this is going to be your reading. So I feel like they knocked it out of the park with the coloring. It's really green towards the stem, and then it fades down and even gets a little bit of dirt down at the bottom. So I just feel like they did such a good job with that. It looks like it was just freshly plucked out of the ground. Anyways, let's get into your cards. We got the Gentle Gardener, Dry Desert, Spark, and Sad Embrace. So I feel like one of the things that might make people be rude to you is actually a lot of people would like to be in your life. A lot of them would like to be friends with you. People project on you like this whole personality. I feel like they see you as very full of life, very vibrant, and honestly someone who's quite exciting, or someone they would like to know. They might also perceive you as having a sharp sense of humor, or kind of being a little daunting. Like I feel like there's a sense of intimidation around you. I feel like when you walk into the room, like heads turn and people just take notice of you. And honestly, it might conjure up or stir up feelings of inadequacy or not being good enough, or feelings of insecurity that someone might have. But a lot of people are noticing you, and honestly, a lot of people would like to be around you, or they might project on you or think that you're like a party girl or a party guy, or like a player guy, or that kind of a thing. Or if you're a woman, like a vixen, a temptress. I just feel like a lot of people get this whole image of you based off of your looks that almost like couldn't be more wrong. Not to say that you guys aren't attractive, you obviously are, but I feel like they add in so much extra detailing. They think that like they could never talk to someone like you, or that you're just a player and you're just using these guys or you're using these girls, or that you are the kind of person who would never talk to a stranger and you probably are very cliquey and only stick with your own friends, or that you're not a nice person because of that. A lot of that is stemming from this person's own insecurities. You know, a lot of people who see you, maybe it conjures up feelings of, look at pile 3, look how put together they are, look how full of life and vibrant they are. Because I'm getting kind of fire sign energy from a lot of you guys. Like, I feel like you are just exciting to be around. Maybe you're the kind of person who always has something going on, always has a packed schedule, always has some kind of creative idea in their head, but it feels like you were just on to the next, like living your best life kind of a thing. And I feel like sometimes that upsets people because maybe they feel like their life is a little boring, or they just feel like they could never have the kind of life you have and that you would never take notice of them. So there is kind of like this weird high school vibe I'm getting, where like you're the head cheerleader and they feel like the nerd sitting in the back of the class kind of vibe. And so of course we're not in high school anymore, but for a lot of you guys, you're bringing up insecurities. And I'm hearing for some of you, it's just because of how pretty you are and how attractive you guys are in the face and in the body as well, but especially your face. Like, you excel in your face. You have a beautiful face. And so a lot of these people, when you come in, it's just like almost like, oh, I'll never be good enough for this person. Or if they want to romantically date you, maybe, oh, like, of course they would never talk to someone like me. Or if they want to be friends with you, of course they would never be friends with someone like me. They probably just have their same friend group they've always known, and they just seem like the kind of person who would be a total jerk. You know, a lot of that is projection because you guys just seem like so much fun. And I feel like in a way they're like, I could never hang with pile 3, I'm not exciting enough, I'm not fun enough. And they really see you as fun. Like, there's a lot of people that would like to be friends with you, would like to like go out for a night on the town with you. And I'm hearing you guys can be quite entertaining to be around and a lot of fun. Like, you're an absolute blast to go out with and to like have a few drinks with or something like that. Let's get some more cards. I haven't seen any of these. So we got unconscious games, upside down, your tribe, your vibe, and we got goal setting. So a lot of you guys are kind of like goal setters. You guys are like goal oriented. It's, you know what it's giving is that beginning of Legally Blonde, when Elle Woods is like trying to befriend all the people at Harvard, and they're all like, you wouldn't, what would you have said to me if I was at a frat party? Or you would have made fun of me if I ever went to one of your sorority parties. And then she's like, actually, I would have been nice to, I'm nice to everyone. And I don't use that word and stuff like that. I feel like there's that level of projection towards you. People just thinking that, oh, they think they're better than me, or they wouldn't be nice to me. And it's almost like something they tell themselves to make themselves feel better about not trying to approach you. Or even if you do get annoyed with them, or you're like, oh, excuse me, that was kind of rude, then they can be like, oh, well, of course you would say that, of course, because you probably think you're better than me, or something like that. You know what I mean? There's people who just have so much insecurity when you walk into a room and you just stir that up with them. A lot of these people, though, deep down, they would love to be able to get to hang out with you. They would love to be able to get to be around you. And honestly, you might bring out feelings of loneliness as well, because I feel like they think of you as the kind of person that would have a very full friend group. They think of you as the kind of person who would have a packed social calendar. Like, you've always got things to do. You've always got places to go, people to see, and you're just like doing your own thing. You're just this kind of strong powerhouse of energy. And so because of that, I think for them, it's like contrasting to their life, and it's making them really think about their own lack or the places in their life where they don't have the things that you might have. So even for some of you guys, it might be that you're like in a relationship and it's with a really great person or a really great partner. They might even be jealous of your partner, or that you drive a really nice car, or that you just look very put together. I'm feeling like a lot of you guys in this pile are just physically attractive. But I feel like there's some energy of jealousy coming through, and there's some energy of freshness and excitement from your end. So it's funny, I feel like even when people are rude to you, they might not get too crazy with you, because I feel like you would be the type who could like call them out, or who would like say something back eventually, and you would kind of know how to handle them. But a lot of times I feel like this kind of, they might be passive aggressive with you so that you're like not allowed to say anything back, you know, because when you're passive aggressive, if someone responds directly to it, it can seem kind of crazy. If you're just like, oh yes, bless your heart, and they say like, screw you, then they look crazy. So maybe they try to be more passive aggressive with you rather than directly calling you out. But I feel like a lot of this is because they might even be game playing with you. You know, they might see you as so above them or as someone who's got so many things going on that the only way for them to kind of take you down a few pegs is to go about it very indirectly and to try to like make a little dig or say something kind of passive aggressive and kind of dance around the issue rather than confronting you head on and being fully honest about what they're thinking about you. I feel like a lot of people though, if you like invited them to a party or you invited them to hang out, they would probably totally say yes. Or maybe they would say no only because they would be like, oh, of course, they're probably inviting me to make fun of me, you know, that kind of a thing. Like in, I think, I never saw the movie, but I think in Carrie, she gets invited to prom or something like that. And then they make fun of her and they dump stuff on her head. And so maybe they're imagining that kind of vibe. It's like you are the person who would be, you know, so high up there in a hierarchy that you might like try to humiliate them, or they might just feel humiliated because of you, because of your level that you're at. But I feel like, again, so much of this is projection. I don't want you guys to think I'm saying you are this person. I feel like a lot of it is maybe due to people's own trauma or the fact that they're just overly competitive in general. They might be the kind of people who are competitive, so they assume everyone is competing. They assume everyone is trying to get the same thing, and that you dressed up with makeup because you think you're better or something like that. Or you did your hair so well, or you look so good, so you think you're superior, but that's what they said. That's not what you ever told them. That's actually their own projection and kind of a compliment that they think that actually. But let's get some more cards. So we got the Fire Prince, optimism, aggression. The Horse King, assistance, control. The Eyes of Beauty, positive expectations, clarity. And the Sun Dancers, joyful activity, celebration of life, abundance. So I didn't even know that we had gotten this one, but exactly, I'm picking up on so much fire energy from you guys. And we got the Sun, so Leo energy for sure coming through. But I feel like you guys would be so much fun on a night on the town. And I feel like a lot of these people would love to get to hang out with you. And they just assume that you have a full Rolodex or a full contact list where you probably are constantly texting people or getting DM'd, or you have people who just are always trying to get to be hanging around with you. There are so many people who would like to get to know you. At least that's the projection people have of you, and that you're probably like very booked and busy and not even looking for new friends. They also see you as just very physically attractive, and like you, I'm hearing that line from Bejeweled by Taylor Swift when she says, when I walk into the room, I make the whole place shimmer. And I feel like that's kind of you guys. And I'm fearing you have a very infectious smile. Like you guys just could light up the room with your smile, and everyone like would like to know you, and your laugh. But it feels like there's kind of an exclusivity around you. Like you don't hang out with everyone, or you're not trying to talk to everyone, or you just keep your circle small or something like that. Because it feels like sometimes, even though they might admire you, it can turn into a sense of resentment, or it can turn into a sense of like, you know, who does pile 3 think they are? Or I'm sure they think they're better. But again, very much their own projection of you. They might also assume that you always have lots of romantic options, and that might irritate them in either direction, whether they're romantically interested in you or not, or they might view you as romantic competition for whoever they're romantically interested in. But I feel like people would just assume you guys would have constant date opportunities, constant people asking you out, constant people sliding into the DMs, and that there might even be people assuming that you guys are like shallow. Maybe you do your nails, or maybe you do your hair a lot, or wear really over the top fashion or something. But I almost feel like it annoys sometimes people where they might be like, oh God, what are they dressing for a fashion show? Who do they think they are? But honestly, that's just stirring up their own feelings of lack of Venus or Leo energy in their chart, where maybe they should be taking more time on their appearance if that's something that's provoking jealousy in them, if that's something that bothers them so much, that might be a wound for them and something they should look into. But I feel like a lot of it is just this comparison game that's going on, and this feeling that you're kind of at the top. They might also see you as someone who's achieving a lot financially or achieving a lot with your career, or who is on track to achieve a lot with your career and just has a go-getting energy. Again, I mentioned Elle Woods, and that could definitely be the energy coming through as like this go-getter, hustler, very optimistic, never says no, always reaching for her goals. So I feel like a lot of times people might just want to be you. Like they might just think of you as super cool and be kind of down in the dumps, that they're like, I don't think someone like that would ever hang out with someone like me. They might even be jealous and want what you have in terms of your career or your looks or your romantic partners or whatever. I feel like a lot of you guys just, you've got something in your life that's really excellent, and certain area, possibly multiple areas of your life where everything just seems very lined up. And so a lot of the rudeness you get might just be straight up envy. Let's get into some tarot cards. So we got the 8 of Wands, 5 of Cups, 4 of Pentacles, 5 of Pentacles, Ace of Cups reverse, and the 6 of Pentacles. Wow, so many pentacles. And it's funny, we got the 4 of Pentacles, 4 to 6, like right in a line, 4, 5, and 6 of Pentacles. So there's this heavy emphasis on financial comparison, and in the way that people see you as, again, they might be like questioning their own financial level towards you. There's also a vibe for some people that if they have more money than you, that it makes them envious, because they're like, how do I have this much money? And maybe I am spending a lot of effort and energy on my appearance, and maybe I am wearing the best clothes. But pile 3 can walk into the room with whatever that they got from like a flea market and make it look freaking amazing. And pile 3 might not even have to wear a lot of makeup, or pile 3 does wear makeup and it looks perfect, but there's some level of like, you have something naturally and innate inside of you, an energy to you, a spark, a je ne sais quoi, just something very different about you that other people can't really access. Even if they did try so hard, they would never be able to look and make the impression you guys make. There's something just elusive and special and very different about you. I feel like a lot of you guys get a lot of attention naturally as well. Like you might be that person in the group that you find yourself leading the conversation always. Like when everyone's sitting around at a cocktail party and kind of getting to know each other, that like a lot of times you're the one who's chatting a lot and laughing, and everyone's laughing at your jokes. And there might be someone sitting there mean mugging you at the back of the party because they feel like they don't have those same social skills, and they feel like they could never make everyone laugh at them and enjoy them and like lead the conversation in the way that a lot of you guys naturally do. So a lot of these people are just struggling with bitterness, and Spirit is telling me that when they go home to like their apartment or their house or whatever they live in, that a lot of them do think on you after the fact, and kind of in a bitter, jealous way, and definitely think of like, oh, pile 3, you know what? They really thought so what's funny to me is a lot of them don't feel like they've won with you. Maybe sometimes you go through, a rude interaction, and sometimes afterwards, everyone might have a thought of like, well, I should have said that, or like, oh, I can't believe I let them get away with saying that, or, well, I should have really clocked them and put them in their place. Not like physically, but you know what I mean? Verbally, I guess. And I feel like you should know that like even when you guys don't say anything back, your energy is so powerful that afterwards they would still feel like you kind of came out on top, and they would still be bitter and angry about the outcome, even if you didn't say anything and just laughed. In fact, that might make them more upset, because I feel like there's something about you that you just kind of stay unbothered, and you guys are just very optimistic, very positive, very friendly. And I'm hearing a lot of you guys in pile 3 could make a friend out of literally anyone. Like if you met us, you would never meet a stranger. You could probably start a conversation with anyone. And a lot of these people just wish that they had the same skills that you do. They wish that they had the same abilities to talk to anyone. They wish they had the same little magic sparkle of fairy dust that a lot of you guys have. A lot of them, you know, if they could kind of step into your skin and be you for a night, they probably would. They would probably want to know what it feels like, because I'm hearing a lot of you guys have people falling in love with you instantly, like instant crushes, people who just think you're so beautiful, so attractive. And so I feel like people who might not have experienced that, they might wonder what it's like or want to be you, or feel like, if only I could have access to that, my whole life would be perfect. Or, of course, pile 4 has XYZ going on, a good career or a good relationship. Look at them, like they're beautiful. They had it all handed to them, that kind of a thing, that kind of a bitterness. A lot of people do feel like your financial situation, if it's not really set now, that it will be in the future. There's also a lot of people who might assume that you guys are like a sugar baby, a sugar, what is it? Yeah, just a sugar baby, where you guys might have people pay for you, or you might just get, you know, a lot of the jealousy also might be people assuming you get treated really well in romantic relationships and kind of comparing their own relationships to yours and being like, of course their boyfriend would bring them chocolates on Valentine's Day. Ugh, like, yeah, I'm sure, because look at them. And their boyfriend's probably just really shallow. And of course their boyfriend would never date someone who looks like me, and like getting really mad about that and getting really upset about the people who are so drawn to you and the people who want to talk to you. They might say things like you try to hog attention, or you're an attention hog. I can't say the other word that I was thinking of because I want to keep it all PG for YouTube. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people might say that you love attention or something like that. And again, this feels very much like a projection, something they're just saying to try to make themselves feel better at the end of the day. But I feel like people, these are the kind of people who will watch you from afar, and they might not even ever step to you and like say something specifically rude, because I feel like they are intimidated by you. But they definitely are kind of looking and like standing around and like, you know, keeping an eye on you because it irritates them, this bright light that a lot of you guys shine out. So I don't know if they would be brave enough to say something to your face, but I feel like you might even have people gossiping behind your back or saying negativity about you, or just having people be like rude to your face, but it's more in a passive aggressive way rather than directly being like, hey, I hate your guts. Because I feel like also people can sense your power, they can sense your force, your life force, and they know that you actually, if they were to fully come for you, you could like end them, because you guys are that powerful. You really are. And I just heard that girl. So maybe you are that girl to a lot of people, or that guy. Anyways, let's get some more cards. We got Deep Diver, diving into a task, the Further Gate, Bold Step Forward, gathering around the power of community, and Benefactor, Grace and Generosity. I'm just laughing because I haven't seen these cards yet, but with Benefactor, like exactly, and it's coming out next to the Six of Pentacles, because, you know, like I said, some people are saying that you guys have a sugar daddy or a sugar mama. They might not. I'm hearing, how do they afford their lifestyle? How do they afford to look that good? Or how do they afford to do those things? How do they afford to travel or whatever? People might assume that you have a romantic partner who just pays for everything. And even if you're like, I'm single, I'm not even posting anyone on my like social media, they might assume that you're hiding it. They might assume that you're just keeping it on the DL. They might assume that you are like, oh, let me not show Richard because he's paying for me and he treats me so well, but I'm going to keep this away from the spotlight. But there's people that might assume that you just have life taken care of for you, that things are handed to you, or even that your parents take care of you or fund you or something like that. But it's kind of like, how does she do it is what I'm hearing in my mind, or how does he do it? A lot of people who just want to know like your secret recipe, like the secret sauce of McDonald's, you know, how people would try to copy that. It's like, I feel like you just have something so special, different, and unique about you guys. And a lot of people wish they could copy that and have access to that same thing as you do. They also just see so many people as being drawn to you, and that you can make friends with anyone, that you would have the ability to walk into any room, any space, and just get along with people and just make the magic happen and just get people together. There's something different and special and unique about you, that you also might be a really good conversationalist, and not everyone could run a conversation or could talk to a random stranger the way you do. That's kind of a unique, special talent that you have. I don't think you guys are aware of sometimes that a lot of people do stare at you in a positive way, and sometimes the haters in a negative way. But a lot of people stare at you just because they find you physically attractive. They just might do it when your head is turned or when you're not looking. And these people might clock that. They might be very perceptive, and they might see the way that like their boyfriend is looking at you, or the way the random guys suddenly, when you're not looking, they're all fixed on you. I feel like a lot of you guys are kind of like in your own energy. You're kind of aware of it, but you're used to it, so you don't notice it that much. And like someone else, you might go out with a friend and say something like, oh my God, everyone is staring at you, or everyone is staring at us, or oh my God, everyone is looking at you. Those guys haven't looked away once, and you're like, really? Because I feel like you kind of block it out a little bit. Okay, let's get some more dice for pile 3. We want to know, why are people rude to pile 3? So we got the 8th house, the sun, Leo energy, like I said, and then we have Cancer. So interesting. Cancers come out in all the readings today. So we have Leo, we have Scorpio, and we have Cancer. So 2 water signs, and then we have a fire sign. I'm definitely getting fire, but it could be some water mixed in as well. In that kind of, I think the one thing about water is they can be kind of very creative, and Leo's also extremely creative. I mean, maybe the most creative in the whole zodiac. It is really the sign of creation. So I feel like there's something very creative, different, fresh about you guys, unexpected about you guys. You might dress in a really cool way, or be like a trendsetter with what you wear. You might dress in a way that people think is very fashion forward and avant-garde, even if you, like I said, are just sourcing from whatever, like from Target. That the way you put it together though is like really cool and different and unique. I feel like though a lot of you guys are very unconventional, and you'd frankly, I mean, not that there's anything wrong with it, but you might not even want to wear something from Target. You might prefer to source your clothes from other sources, like something unconventional, or something that not everyone has, or like even, like I said, a thrift store or an estate sale, or something super different, where I feel like people would be like, oh my God, I've never seen someone wear that before, but it looks really cool. Or like maybe from other countries, or something just really different. With the 8th house coming out, again, a lot of people would love to be in partnership with you. And again, that assumption that you have shared income, which is in the 8th house. Also, that you guys seem to emanate a strong sense of sexuality. People noticing how sexy you are, how beautiful you are, and also projecting that you have these really amazing sexual relationships. So there might be a lot of jealousy from that. And there might be also this feeling or sense that you use your sexuality to get what you want, or that, of course, you just have things handed to you because your sexuality is coming through so strong. But almost like, if I could only do that, or if only I had that kind of sexuality, like my life would be so much easier. I could get the guys I want, I could get the girls I want, or whatever. I could have the job I want, and probably like, oh, of course they're using their sexuality. It's like in Elle Woods, in Legally Blonde, how Elle Woods got accused of getting her internship because she was sleeping with the guy, and that wasn't the case. But I feel like, because she's just so beautiful and blonde and so like feminine, people just assumed that she'd have to be doing that. And so there's something with that with you guys. It might even be an irritant to you. You might be like, yeah, I know I give off this sexual vibe, and I wish people didn't see me like that. But it's honestly a blessing and a good thing. And don't let the jealous haters make you not happy about it, because it's something you should be proud of. And with the sun, you're naturally the center of attention. People are just naturally going to gravitate towards you, just like all the planets circle around the sun. People tend to circle around sun, Leo energy. So a lot of people are just noticing you. And also, like, you're very full of life. You just have a joie de vivre, where you guys are like excited to do things. I feel like you bring enthusiasm, you bring energy. You kind of like, if the party is lame and kind of the energy is low, when you walk in, suddenly it's like everything is popping off again and everyone's happy to be there and the energy just starts flowing a lot better again. So I feel like a lot of people would even want you to be at their party or might invite you to social functions because they know you can kind of keep things flowing. And finally, we have Cancer energy, fourth house energy. So there might be that energy that people assume you get money from your family or that you get money from your parents, but there also could be a very nurturing side to you where you're very protective and loving over your close friends and inner circle. And I feel like a lot of people might be jealous of that as well, where they might feel like, I wish I could be a part of their inner circle. I wish I could be on the receiving end of pile three's love and their protectiveness. And I wish I could be inside of that, because a lot of people might feel like outsiders with the way you guys carry yourselves and just the fact that they wish they had access to you. They just want more access to you, and it really irritates them, I feel, when you guys don't give them that. Like, if they were being fully honest, they would admit that deep down they just want to hang out with you more. They just want to be invited to your parties. They just want to get to be included with you because you seem like such a blast. You guys seem like you're so much fun, and like you guys are just, like I said, the life of the party and infectious energy. Like, whenever you're happy, you can make everyone happy. You could probably tell jokes and get everyone laughing and just make things fun. There's something invigorating about you that when you come in, it's like the party finally started, you know? So I feel like a lot of people, if they are being rude, it's just because they wish they had your kind of energy, but deep down they're highly intimidated. And again, even if you never fight back, even if you never said anything back to these people, rest assured that deep down when they go home, they think about all the things you said and they kind of like ruminate on you and think about like, oh, pile three, oh, they just think they're so much better, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, it's just because they're so upset that they really can't be you. That's what they would like to be, is they would kind of like to be you. So anyways, guys, I really hope this resonated. Pile three, your energy was very invigorating. So thank you for kind of waking me up a little. I really appreciate it. Please let me know how it resonated for you down in the comments. If you do feel like you are this kind of archetype, Elwood's type, or you just fit this mold, please let me know. I'd love to hear your reactions, and make sure to hit the like button. Give this reading a thumbs up if it did resonate with you. Also, make sure to subscribe and turn those notifications on. Hit the bell so you can find out as soon as I post and be the first to know. And if you guys would like to see more of my readings, then head on over to my Patreon, where I post all my additional readings. Once you sign up, you get access to over 45 additional readings. I just posted one all about what's happening next in your career, but there are readings about life, love, spirituality, career, relocation, money, 18 plus readings, so many different readings to choose from, and new ones go up all the time. You guys also suggest new ones, and then we vote on the new topics. So if you guys would like to join me over there, I would absolutely love to have you join our little club, and you can head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description to join me on Patreon. And also, if you guys would like to get a private one-on-one reading, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and sign up for a half hour or full hour-long session with me. You can get me to read your astrology, you can get me to channel for you, mediumship or intuitively, or you can have me pull tarot, of course, or do a mix. You can do a year ahead reading, a love reading, career reading, or just a mix of all of those. You get to really choose what we talk about. So anyway, I'd love to do a reading for you. If you'd like that, head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, to sign up for a session with me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you guys very soon in another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey pile 4, welcome to your reading. So if you guys picked this carrot, this is going to be your reading. You can see it's greener towards the stem, and then it fades down into orange, so it looks like it was just freshly picked out of a carrot patch. Super realistic. Anyways, guys, let's get into your cards. You guys got Ghostlands, Wizard of Awareness, Dragon's Lair, and Magic Prayer. So I feel like one of the reasons people might be rude to you is that they might sense kind of a sense of judgment from you because you guys are so smart. Because I feel like a lot of you guys, you kind of see through the BS. You know, there's something with you being very perceptive. There's something with you guys just seeing through appearances and the mask other people might put up. Because I'm hearing they can fool other people, but they can't fool you. And it might even be like a quick interaction with someone, but they might be able to sense that you're really seeing down deep into their soul, that you have this very intelligent side to you. And I also feel like you guys are highly street smart, and you're a good reader of people, and like you can sum someone up in like 2 seconds. You could probably meet someone once and know everything about them, pick up on their traumas or their issues, or just get a message of like, let me stay away from this person. It feels like to me, a lot of you guys, you might not be like super warm and bubbly and friendly when someone first meets you, because I feel like your opinion kind of has to be won over. Like it takes a minute for you to fully open up with someone and fully trust them. So there is this energy that sometimes maybe you guys are a little standoffish or distant, and people get offended by that, and then people get mad. And honestly, so much of this is their projection of your judgment, feeling like you're judging them or that they're not good enough for you. Also, it might bring out their competitive instinct. You might be the kind of person that just seems very destined for success. You might have a destiny of success around you, energy around you, attached to you for financial success or success in a certain area of life. And people might ask you or say to you things like, oh, so you think you're better than us? Or they might have that vibe or energy, if they don't say it out loud, of like, okay, pile 4 is leaving us behind. Because I also feel like some of you guys, you don't really fit in wherever you live, and you might kind of stick out like a sore thumb. So if you live in like a very small town, maybe you seem like you have like a big city energy. Or if you live in a big city, maybe you seem like you have kind of a countryside girl vibe and like forest vibe or beach vibe, you know what I mean? But there's something about you that goes outside the crowd and truly marches to the beat of your own drum. And I feel like because of that, people almost feel rejected. They might feel like even just your presence, your energy, the way you dress is kind of like a tacit calling out of their values. Like maybe they believe that every woman has to look a certain way, or every man has to look a certain way, or something like that. And when you come around, you do your own thing so effortlessly that I feel like a lot of these people might end up questioning themselves or kind of feel like they're being attacked just because of your presence. I feel like a lot of you guys are very non-reactive though, and you kind of wouldn't be the type to like go off on someone and lose your temper easily. But when you do, I feel like you guys have incredibly sharp things to say. Like you guys could probably read someone for filth, you know what I mean? You could probably know exactly their flaws or what to bring up, and you're highly intelligent. So it's kind of funny because I feel like people don't want to fully mess with you, but there is this awareness of your strength and your power. And there's also a message that for some of you guys, this might have to do with you like leaving people behind, even though this wasn't the intention of the reading. But I feel like there's almost people from your past that want to pop up to be like, oh yeah, pile 4 thought that they were better than us and pile 4 left us. Something like that. I don't know if this is family members or old friends or an ex, but I feel like there's a vibe of you moving on and doing your own thing, and people taking it very personally and almost taking it like a personal attack. And those people might have been rude or nasty to you. And I guess they're coming through in this reading to let you know why, that it wasn't because of anything you did really. It was because of their own insecurity being brought out in this idea that you were kind of moving them away or throwing them away like trash. I almost feel like a lot of people wish that they could be closer to you. A lot of people like put your opinion in very high regard. They think of you as someone who's really smart, as someone who's very together, like someone who has their life together. Like your assessment of things, your assessment of people is very dead on. And I feel like even when someone doesn't know you and you've just walked into the room, you seem very competent. You seem like someone who has your act together. You don't seem like a clown-like energy who's going to be a total mess. You seem like someone who is dependable, smart, respectable. And I feel like that might just trigger feelings in someone of insecurity, or maybe they're feeling a little chaotic, and that comparison, like it feels like you see everything. Even if it was something small that this person did that like they kind of were hoping no one would notice, you're just that perceptive that you can't help but pick up on everything. So I feel like there's a sense of like almost like pile 4 sees through me, and I'm not comfortable with that. Let's get some more cards. I haven't seen any of these. We got Jar of Dreams. If I can get this next one, Confessions, Beauty Sleep, and we got Connect with Nature. So again, with this energy of you kind of seeing through people, and because of that, you might have had a lot of people like confess things to you, so to speak, confess things where maybe they wouldn't normally tell someone else that, but it might have been like in that moment, suddenly you had someone like trauma dump on you, and then afterwards they might even feel bad about that or feel kind of weird about having told you everything, and they might suddenly turn their back on you and start being really mean to you as like a reaction to their own vulnerability and to the fact that I feel like you do see everything. Like you're highly perceptive. So you're not someone who's just going to like hear someone talk about a toxic relationship and not really think and start filling in the gaps in your mind, or that it's just gonna like go over your head and you're gonna be like, oh, that's nice. Like you really pick up on all of it. And so I feel like people get upset. I'm seeing a microscope or like a magnifying lens where I feel like you just see it all. You don't really need that magnifying glass, because automatically you have such a clear vision of things and of people that you just pick up on everything. I also feel like a lot of you guys might be very physically attractive, and so with beauty sleep coming through, it might just be that you seem well rested, you seem very present, you seem there with people, and also physically attractive, and like you look good, you're well put together. I feel like a lot of you guys, even if you're like just rolled out of bed and honestly you're not doing that well, or you're having a rough day or something, a lot of people see you as someone who looks very highly educated, who looks maybe like they came from a good background, or just seems really, really smart, like kind of like the smartest girl in class, the girl who would sit in the back of the class and know all the answers, you know? I feel like there's almost like a wound some people have with thinking about you not liking them. And honestly, it feels like you have a very high, or people hold your opinion in very high regard. I'm hearing that line from Mr. Darcy from Pride and Prejudice, where he says something like, my opinion once lost is lost forever. And I feel like that's you guys. You guys, like, you have this incredible discretion. And I honestly feel like some of the people coming through, even though this isn't the point of the reading, are people from your past where maybe you've cut them off or something, and now they're so heated, they're so upset, and they're kind of using this reading, even though it's really not the topic, to talk about how upset that made them. And maybe there's a projection even among strangers of like, oh, they can see through me, they know me, they think they're better than me, they think they're better than the town we live in, or they think they're better than the school we're in, or whatever. It feels like a lot of you guys are so smart, and maybe you're dreaming of something different. Maybe you're dreaming of going somewhere else or having a different career. Maybe it's like in your workplace, you stick at out at your workplace because you're smarter than everyone else. Or maybe even with dealing with clients, some of the clients get irritated because they can see that you're really smart and that you kind of see through their BS or their reasonings. And also I feel like a lot of you guys just feel very destined for bigger things. So even if you're working at a certain job now, you might carry the energy that you're not going to be there long, and that one day you're going to be like running a huge company, and maybe this is where you're at temporarily, but in the future you're destined for something really big. And I feel like almost people who have settled for how it is and how they are right now honestly might get very down in the dumps about that, or just have it threaten them. There is an earth energy coming through with you guys. I could definitely see some Capricorn here, also Taurus and Virgo for sure. And you know, there is this strong earth energy because earth signs tend to be very down to earth, very efficient, very much, you know, you can kind of keep them at their word. When they tell you they're going to do something, they're going to do it. They're usually not going to flake on you or be like, oh my God, I forgot. And I feel like a lot of you guys, you have this strong energy of like reliability, dependability, and someone who's a little bit of a flake or who might have issues in some area of their life, they're going to be comparing themselves to you. And honestly, the seriousness, the power, the gravitas you guys bring to different situations, I feel like it just rubs some people the wrong way, and they kind of can't handle that. They can't handle the scrutiny. They can't handle the judgment they sense from you guys. I'm being told to go to the tarot cards next, so that's what we're going to do, even though I haven't seen any of them yet. Oh, and I forgot one. Anyway, this one is the Knight of Cups, the Hierophant, the Queen of Swords. Yes, that's definitely you. The Magician, the Queen of Pentacles. Oh my God, that is so accurate for you. And one last one. Oh, okay. That one was the Nine of Pentacles. So for you guys, again, this heavy wealth energy, but also this energy of the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles sums you guys up so perfectly. So that's air energy and earth energy. So with air signs, we have Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius represented. And with earth signs, we have Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn represented. But I am getting that strong. Those are like probably the most, I don't want to say like intelligent, because of course water signs can be intelligent and fire signs, of course, can as well. But in terms of like how we think of intelligence, of being like book smart and having a really amazing vocabulary, being a great communicator, being able to break down mathematical knowledge, and being able to succeed in the business world, a lot of these things are sword and pentacle energy, earth and air energy. So a lot of it is this thing that will determine someone's success, how well they are able to like synthesize information, to come up with a really smart like response, or formulate a really good plan, or be dependable and reliable. All those things are earth and air. And I feel like you guys have those in spades. You guys are the person that maybe if you did a group project, everyone would depend on you. Everyone would turn to you and be like, okay, pile 4 has got to handle this. Pile 4 is the best. I feel like you guys are just very well spoken. And I feel like just some people might resent the fact that you seem like you're going to be on to doing better and bigger things. You guys are very capable at whatever you do. And I feel like sometimes, I'm not going to lie, you guys are a little judgmental, not in a bad way. I mean, it's normal to pass judgment, right? But sometimes when someone's acting like a clown, you probably can't help but be like, oh my God, like what is wrong with this person? Because I think especially, earth energy tends to be kind of slow to get going and doesn't tend to be like quick to anger or super chaotic or like run around like a fool. That's kind of like water, fire, to be honest. I mean, I gotta call us out. But I feel like for you guys, you're very balanced, you're very down to earth, and maybe someone around you, if they're acting like an idiot or they can't figure something out or they're just being super slow, you can't help but be like, oh my God, like what is wrong with this person? And I just feel like people get irritated by the intelligence you exude, by the judgment that honestly is probably pretty accurate. Like you're not being delusional when you're like, this should have been finished 5 minutes ago, or this should have been, this should have been an easy thing. You might not say that, but they can probably see the look in your eyes. They can probably see that you're picking up on exactly what they're putting down, and everything they're doing, and that you can see through them. And whatever excuse they might give, they might be like, no, it's not usually like this, or I can't believe that's why it happened, it was just sudden. I feel like you guys would be like, well, that's fine. But like they can see the judgment. They can see, like, if you were to walk into a restaurant that was like really poorly run, you're kind of like the Gordon Ramsay on Kitchen Nightmares, how he will come in and he has to call out like, what is this? This is raw, and all the things he mentions. That's kind of your energy as well. Like, I feel like, those people tend to fight back a lot of times against Gordon Ramsay. They get very oppositional because they don't want to be told that like their lasagna is horrible, and that the bar is being really poorly run, and that the menu is awful, and the recipes need to be tweaked, and the interior design needs to go. No one wants to hear that, right? Everyone wants to live kind of in a world of delusion, pretending everything is fine. And you guys are the ones that I feel like has the vision to come in and see things as they are and to call them out. And honestly, a lot of you guys feel very destined for success in some way, and people might compare themselves to you and just feel like they can't measure up, feel like they're not good enough, feel like I could never reach the level that pile 4 is at. I'm never going to be able to be someone like pile 4 who's very put together, who's very efficient, and who does a great job. And I honestly feel like you guys sometimes have a hard time extending sympathy to people who act in clown-like ways, or people who are super chaotic, because you're in such a better settled place. A lot of you guys might have even done shadow work or work to move past that. So when someone comes at you with like a crazed energy, frantic energy, running around all over the place, like acting an idiot, I feel like a lot of you guys are like, no, I'm good. So yeah, honestly, a lot of this is because people are sensing that there's something kind of higher quality about you guys. You might even dress better. People might assume you have a lot of money, or that you are going to be making a lot of money. You might just come off like you're from a very high tier wealth group, money group, or that you have a very like nice background and you were like privately educated or something like that. But I feel like a lot of people just project those things on you, and it's almost like they're looking for an excuse because they know that all the things you're calling out are fully accurate, and they can't really handle that. So instead, they'd rather just get oppositional, angry, and kind of nasty to you. And I feel like for some of this, For some of you guys, this is you just like literally walking into a room. Like you don't even have to say anything. You don't have to be like calling out the bartender and asking to speak to the manager or whatever, but just your presence and like the look in your eye and just the way you would like look over everything and, you know, make a tiny little micro facial expression that you're not even trying to show. You're trying to keep your face stone faced, but people can tell. They're like, oh, okay, I get the judgment. Oh, they think they're better. Oh, they think I'm a loser. So yeah, it's something that I feel like is honestly your power, your resonance, the power you exude. Kind of like I'm seeing a general in the army walking into like an army barracks and like going over all the beds and making sure they're all neatly made and like testing the guys and making them do jumping jacks or something. I feel like that's kind of your energy for some of you guys. There's so much power and force and strength behind you that like your presence is kind of like shakes everything up. I'm also seeing someone like walk into a party and it's almost like there's so much like almost like a police officer coming into a teenage party and there's like people making out in the corner and underage drinking and a fight breaks out and all this stuff, and as soon as the police officer walks in, everyone's like, oh gosh, the party's done, you know? Not that you guys are like not fun or like a party killer, but that I feel like your inner like judgment that you guys give off, and I mean judgment in a positive way, like you guys have a lot of good judgment. You guys would never get engaged in doing something really stupid and dumb, and when you see someone engaged in stupid and dumb behavior, I feel like you guys can't help but be like, what the heck? Let's get some more cards. So we got the Camel Boy, small steps, asking for help, the Ringmaster of scrutiny, discernment, clear vision, details, the Queen of the light, illumination, enlightenment, celebration, and the High Lady of love and compassion, reverence, kindness, consideration. So I feel like some people kind of really look up to you, and honestly they kind of put you in a queen role. Some of them put your judgment on such a high pedestal that if you say anything even slightly critical towards them, they get upset. And honestly, again, some of you guys are having people from your past come through. It might be family members or friends or relationships that you guys have cut off, and they're basically saying that they did mess up a lot and that they, you know, it's almost like they didn't want you to have this clear vision that you have. I feel like you guys are always the ones who could see through whatever BS someone was offering, even when you were a little kid, even when you were super young. Like you would be the one to notice if like a family had a really toxic dynamic, or you would be the one to notice if like someone was treating their dog badly, even when you were like 4 years old. You guys just had, you might have some strong psychic abilities as well with the Hierophant coming through. And so yeah, a lot of people, it's like they want to be around you, they want to kind of use your energy, and maybe you know that as well, and that's why you put up some energetic barriers, and that's why you guys are like, no, like I'm not just going to be open to everyone. I don't want to just hang out. I've been to too many toxic, dysfunctional things, and I'm not going to engage in that again. I've been around this too much, and I refuse to give my energy away anymore. But a lot of you guys, you know, there is a healing presence that you give off. Actually, I think sometimes, just like, you know, I don't know how well those restaurants actually did, but the whole point of Kitchen Nightmares with Gordon Ramsay is for him to come in and like improve the business and make them do better and fix the changes. So as painful as it might be to hear that like their favorite dish is actually really horrible and it's awful, but ultimately they're going to benefit from those lessons, and ultimately they're going to hopefully come away having a much more functional business and having food that tastes better and everything. So I feel like sometimes people are rude to you because they kind of don't know how to ask for help, and it feels easier to fight, right? It feels easier to get mad. It feels easier to scream and stomp your feet than to be like, I'm really sad and upset. So yeah, honestly, look at that. Discernment, clear vision. That's what you guys have. Honestly, people might also be intimidated by your vocabulary, because I feel like you guys have quite a large, or should I say extensive, vocabulary where you could just drop SAT words wherever you wanted. You know what Spirit is bringing up to my mind is like that episode of Friends where Joey like uses the thesaurus to edit his essay, so every single word he runs through the I can't even say it, thesaurus, and it makes no sense, and the essay just sounds ridiculous. But I feel like that's like, if you wanted to, you could speak in this super flowery, intense language, because you guys have such a great grasp of words. You're just really smart overall. You might also be gifted in math or something like that, but a lot of you guys are great with your words, great with conversation. And I feel like when you actually feel comfortable with someone and want to have a conversation, like, no one is better at you than getting really deep and having some really amazing insight. And actually, I'm hearing people really value what you have to say. You might find your friends go to you all the time for random reads on situations, like maybe about pop culture, or like literally anything in their life. They might bring up like, oh my gosh, I want to hear your take. I'm having a fight with my boyfriend. Or what do you think of what this celebrity is doing? Like, what do you think? And you're like, why are you asking me? I don't even know these people. But people want to get your opinion because, again, they hold it in such high regard. So let's get some of these cards. We got Dust Devil, moving out of stagnation; Wailing Tree, reconciliations; Watchers, transpersonal; Unmarked Trail, revelation; and Jeweled Web, connectivity, and that's reversed, really interestingly. So maybe, again, people want to feel connected to you, but there's almost like this other vibe, like holding yourself away from the crowd. I feel like you guys don't just go along with the crowd and do what everyone else thinks. You're very much keeping to yourself. You're very much like, I want to do my own thing. I want to march to the beat of my own drum. And I feel like you guys almost distrust crowds. As much as most people will say that they're a free thinker, they're independent thinking, like, of course we know the vast majority of people just follow whatever like is in the moment, you know what I mean? And I feel like you guys are really those kinds of people that truly do look outside the box and actually do your own thing. You don't just talk about it, but you genuinely are someone who lives a very individualistic life and does things yourself and doesn't care so much about what others have to say. In fact, if anything, you're kind of distrustworthy of the crowd. I'm seeing images of like the bad boy who's sitting in the back of a classroom with like a leather jacket on, and like he's the smartest guy in the room, but he like refuses to engage in the classroom. So maybe this is just how you rub people the wrong way, or maybe they're engaging in the class and they're trying as hard as they can, but they'll never be as smart as you. So it just brings out that kind of insecurity. And I feel like even though you don't try to be the center of attention and you kind of keep to yourself, you still have so many people who like you. So again, there's a little jealousy with that of like, pile 4 doesn't even have to try hard, and yet they always get this attention anyway, and yet they have people drawn to them, and yet so many people want to know them. There's also this energy, again, I'm not going to let it turn into that reading, but there's a lot of people from your past that I'm hearing you guys have cut off, specific people who honestly would really like to be back in contact with you, and they really thought they were always going to have access to you and your energy. And if some of these people have been cruel or callous to you, you need to know that a lot of that is because they thought you were always going to be around. I'm hearing that they just thought you were going to be there forever and they could kind of treat you whichever way. I feel like this has honestly, some of these relationships have caused some trauma or just made you a little bit tougher. It's kind of hardened you up, but not in a bad way. Not like you have a hard heart and you're impossible to get to know, but I just feel like you're a little more savvy, a little more street smart. You know, you wouldn't be the kind of person where if someone approaches you and they're like, hey, if you pay me $15, I can get you this, and just hand me the cash, or those online scams and stuff. I feel like you guys would see right through them. Like, you have so much discernment to you, partially because you realize not everyone is a kind person because of the things you guys have gone through. So there is this energy with the people from your past that you've cut off of like, pile 4 is way too harsh. But I think a lot of that is because they just wish you didn't see them as clearly as you did. They wish they could obscure your vision and kind of take your glasses off, so that you couldn't see as clearly, because a lot of these people live in a world of kind of illusions that they project onto others and onto themselves as well. Let's get some astro dice for pile 4. Spirit, please give me some astro dice about why people are rude to pile 4. So we got, unsurprisingly, the 11th house, Sagittarius, and then we got the sun as well. So 2 fire signs. So we have Sag, Aquarius, and we have Leo. So I was picking up on that heavy Aquarius energy. And the other thing about Aquarius is it's highly intellectual. It's very, very smart. And especially like in this modern era, it's also a wealth associated sign. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, again, that success energy. And again, this energy of you being kind of effortless. Like I feel like you guys don't seek out attention. You just naturally walk into a room and people are drawn to you guys. People see you and kind of want to get to know you more. And even though you guys, it feels like you keep to yourself, it feels like you're not trying to get attention, you're not wanting to be the center of it, but you're just someone who's going to do your own thing with that Sagittarius Archer energy of always having something new in mind. Also that you don't really want to be tied down. And again, this energy for some of you guys that you are destined to travel or to live in a new town, a new city, that you're kind of, I don't want to say too good because it's just a matter of taste, but that honestly, wherever you have grown up or wherever you are now, you have bigger things ahead of you. You have something greater in your destiny, or maybe that you moved from somewhere else and you just seem a little different. But I feel like a lot of you guys feel like you have a destiny of achievement and of success, and also that you're not going to settle for anything less. And I feel like there are a lot of people that would love for you to settle, be it romantically, friend-wise, or even family member-wise, where people gave you kind of bad treatment and they just expected you to kind of sit down and shut up, and you wouldn't do that. And I feel like that's what this energy is that's coming through. But it also could be, since this is about, I was primarily making it about strangers, but your reading kind of got invaded, to be honest. But with strangers, they might just sense this presence from you. They might sense this judgment, because I'm seeing like a really dysfunctional situation, like something that could have been on the Maury show or Jerry Springer or something, and you coming in with like all this grace and dignity. That's another thing. You guys are highly dignified, graceful in how you move. I literally feel like you have a graceful bone structure, and Capricorn does rule the bones. I'm just feeling like Capricorn vibes from you guys as well. And also Virgo has a lot of grace as well. It is the Virgin, you know, so you guys kind of have that purity to you, that unblemished, like, discernment is what the word that keeps coming up for you guys. You're not just gonna fall for any old thing, because that's kind of what the Virgin is, right? Like, I guess it's a powerful archetype because she tends to be like, nope, not good enough. Nope, not good enough. Nope, not good enough. Whereas someone else might be like, sure, this is fine. The Virgin is a like step above, you know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of people have maybe made offers to you or would like to make offers to you, but they just assume you're going to say no. They assume you're going to turn them down, or maybe you have turned them down because you guys, it feels like you never lose your power. You never really get rattled. You never let anyone shake you outside of your own inner strength. And I feel like a lot of people have tried. I feel like a lot of people have tried to get you upset or to bring you into some toxic, dysfunctional situation. And every time you stay rooted in your own energy, your own aura, and you just allow yourself to not get drawn in. So yeah, that is what I have for you guys. Pile 4, I really hope it resonated. If it did, let me know in the comments. I really love hearing from you guys, so I would love to know what you think, how this applied to you. If you do feel like you fit this archetype, please let me know. I'm always so curious, and make sure to give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button if it did resonate with you guys, and make sure to subscribe and turn those notifications on. Hit the bell so you can find out as soon as I post next and be the first to know. Also, if you guys would like to see more of my readings, then head on over to my Patreon, where I post all my additional readings. Once you sign up, you get access to over 45 additional readings. I just posted one all about what is happening next in your career. So that's a really good, informative one. But there are readings about all different kinds of topics: life, love, spirituality, career, relocation, money, 18+ readings. And you guys suggest new ones, and then we vote for new ones. So there's a lot of interaction over there and a lot of things to watch and to do. So I hope you guys will join us over at Patreon. And if you want to sign up, the link for that is underneath the timestamps in the comments and in the description. And if you guys would also like to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and sign up for a half-hour or a full-hour session with me. You can have me pull tarot for you, channel mediumship, channel intuitively, or do astrology for you. You can get a year ahead reading, or a career reading, a love reading, or a mix, or you can do just an open channeling session, which I love to do. Whatever you guys would like to do, or an energy check-in, whatever you guys would like to do, there's lots of options over there, and you get to kind of guide the reading. So if you'd like to sign up, head to my website, briarrosetarot.com. Link is in my description for that as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will be back very soon for another reading. Take care, guys, and I'll see you then. Bye.